Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, whatever time zone or place you may be watching this from. Getting right into it, this is a bench, first part of a bench build. This is just showing a little bit of the Shaper 3D build out that I did. This is not exact to what I actually end up building, because I did end up putting this on casters. So some adjustments will have to be made. So you'll see the bottom rails are right up on the casters, and rather than there being a 4-inch kind of space at the bottom, it's all done by casters. This one, again, is going to be kind of a down and dirty piece. I was overthinking my bench for a long time. I was going to kind of build a nicer one with some lap joints and pieces like that, but this one is built out of, I think, 11 or so 2x4s for the framing, and the next version of this will be with some drawers and stuff, because I want to be able to store my pack out on the underside of this bench. And so that's the actual caster in the video down at the bottom, and I was just trying to figure out kind of where I wanted the height of the bench to fall. I'm 6 foot. I think it ended up being around 39 inches after adding the caster and all the type stuff. So once I got that figured out, I kind of went to cutting the support pieces you saw in the framing. And it's just kind of creating those lap joints, you know, with smaller or shorter cut 2x4s, helping create a really sturdy frame. It's actually quite nice. But as I mentioned originally, before I moved, I was going to use my brother-in-law's tools, because he has a full woodworking shop, and I was going to do some lat joints, and I had to enlist some help there. But I was going to do actual lap joints and make the 2x4s more like a 1x3 type deal. This is going to work out just fine. Somebody recommended I get some foam, I think, when I was using my track saw in one of the last videos, and I'm happy to say I did a delivery of some sheet goods and some 2x4s, so I just went ahead and added a couple of these foam boards to that order, because I don't have a truck and my SUV is not large enough to fit any of that in there, so I kind of fumbled through this part, trying to not work on the ground. I was working on the sawhorses, but you get through it. That is the new Milwaukee track saw. I've had it for a little while, first time using it. I have the Makita, I think, as well. So now you can see what I'm talking about with kind of creating lap joint-ish. So a bunch of people have done workbenches like this, and I'm really wanting a workbench to be able to start working on some cabinetry. I need a good flat reference. It doesn't necessarily have to be, super strong or level or anything like that. This one is strictly, I need a good sturdy flat base, because I want to build some good cabinetry as I start to work on this condo. So I glued it, and then I screwed it to use the screws as clamps so I could keep progressing. And then I realized, why am I working on the ground? I could just use my makeshift bench on the sawhorses. So I moved it, put it up here. And you will notice I did offset. I think I explained this later in the video, but I did offset the center brace to allow for 2 pack outs, or to make one side fit a pack out plate exactly. I have Milwaukee pack outs, and then the other side will be able to be drawers or you know, one piece of pack out, and then the one can have some skinny drawers or some space to hold something. I didn't want to slide it over enough to do 2 pack outs next to each other or divide it in the middle, because it would have made for some funky spaces. So I did offset it just a tad. I've got to get some new glue. That glue it's right at the last little bit of it, towards the end of the. And no, I'm not spreading the glue out. It's squeezing out just fine. I do clean it up a little bit off camera. Have some good squeeze out. And this is the point where I realized, oh wait, I need 6 of everything, not 4 of everything. So I am short on all my vertical bracing. And yeah, so I have to go back in, cut some more. I try to cut it all at the same time. And I cut that video out. You didn't need to see me cutting any more wood, but I try to cut it all at the same time, since I was using the track saw and I wanted them all to be the same length. It makes it a lot easier, you know, matching up those ends, cutting them at the same time, keep things, you know, as decently square and similar in size and shape. So after I got my 2 sides done, I have all my center bracing cut. And this is, again, it's 4 pieces for the top and the bottom. This is technically upside down at the moment. I'm not sure why the camera was doing this. I tried to cut some of this footage out for you guys so it wasn't annoying you or me when I watched this video. But yeah, so I ended up pre-drilling all my spots, and then I did not glue this portion of the build. I wanted to leave that open in case I want to adjust the width. So I'm building this just over 3x6. It's like, you know, I think around 38 inches by maybe 6 foot 2 inches or 3 inches, something like that. I didn't want a full 4x8. I don't have a ton of space in this garage, so 3x6 seemed like a decent size that could handle most of the things that I'll be building. So I pre-drilled these because it is going into some end spots, and I put 4 screws per end, so 2 into the end grain and then 2 into the side, just to give it some extra support. Again, later on, if I feel like I want to skinny this up and or expand it into a wider work surface, I can take all those out, repurpose those, and put some new bracing in between. And again, necessarily, this doesn't have to be the upside up. This doesn't have to be where it's upside down. It just is. This portion of the floor was decently flat and not, like, you know, super wonky. So I used it to kind of create my flat surface for the top, and then got everything else lined up, squeezed together, and connected. This is the next day because it got too hot for the kids and I to be outside. It was, I think, 111 or 14 index. We were all sweating like crazy, so we went inside, all took showers, got the kids some ice cream, and I came back out early the next morning. Now that I've got that done, I bring it in a little closer to show. I actually, you know, at one point I was going to use 4x4s, which it wouldn't have made too much of a difference, but I realized where I wanted to place those, I needed to get a little support piece in there. So I cut little 6-inch or so pieces, 5-inch, something like that, glued them, and I did screw these ones in got them decently flat, and then attach those. Again, the glue's plenty strong. This is not going to be super heavy. You'll see at the end when all the stuff I put on it, and it still rolls really easy. I didn't have any flexing. This was about 2 weeks ago. Again, apologize not getting this video up sooner, but work and life has been super busy as always. But yeah, no flexing or bowing. I was worried about the center not having casters a little bit, but I just checked this table out this morning, and it was a-okay, perfectly fine. Pre-drilled all my holes, and then I use some Simpson, those are like in the I forget what they're called, but they're lags, really heavy duty lags made for building pergolas, and they're really, really high rated. I don't recall what they are, so I had some of those left over from a pergola build before the move, and so I just used those to pop them in there, and they are awesome, super strong. And I ended up chewing up my little extension here because it was running against the feet or the casters, so I ended up ruining that extension bit, but it'll be fine. Make sure I'm zoomed out. So this side is 24 inches. It's going to be different than the drawing that I threw up in this video. I modified as I went. Originally, my plan was to do 4x4s and do lap joints, but again, just for resource purposes and ease. Honestly, I could have just used 2x4s and done lap joints, which would have been fine if this was, to me, a ground standing, not on casters, workbench. This was just going to stay put, but I built it a little bit extra. That's a good definition, a little bit extra, just because it is mobile. And again, so my plan is to do some pack outs here, double-sided, and again, this is a little bit wider, so my middle bracing is 35 inches, and then 1.5 inches for each of those, so it's at 38. Because the pack outs, their depth is I think just over 18 for the plate, so I'm going to be able to put my pack outs in here on a little slide out, and then this side I'm going to do some drawers, potentially on one side, and then the other side will probably be for more pack out. Again, I've got that, I've got those, and then I think I have some more hidden away. Obviously the garage is a disaster. I do want to get the 2-drawer pack outs. I have the 3-drawer, it's awesome. I want the 2-drawer for my drills, then I can get rid of my extra case stuff. But I think I'm going to put MDF on this. I thought about a torsion box, but again, I made this a little bit taller than I originally had designed it. One, because I'm 6 foot and I don't want to do that little bend over thing when I'm working on the bench, but I want some dog holes for some hold downs. Originally I thought I would build the router into here, but I decided I don't want to do that. I just want one flat workspace, and I wanted the pack out stuff. Once I start building it, another video will be me actually building this out. I'm gonna think about it a little bit, and so if I do all the pack out over there, that obviously leaves this space on this side. And maybe I do put the router bench in here. I just don't know yet. We'll see. But I bought, what was it? I think I bought 15 2x4s. Some is for some inside projects. And I only used 11 for this. And there's still scraps and offcuts that are usable, like some over 2-foot pieces and some almost 3-foot pieces. But yeah, again, if I originally overthought the bench I was going to build back in the day, because I was just gonna do lap joints and have it all be 2x4s and finish them nice, and then make them like 3x1.25 or something, have them like really square. But that's when I had access to my brother-in-law's shop. I don't have the tools to do that. I don't have a jointer, don't have a table saw. I don't know if I'll ever buy a table saw, if I'm being honest. I want a Craig rip cut is my goal. But yeah, I'm gonna see how this holds up with the center bracing on this middle joint. I slid it over a little bit because again, I need the space for drawers, and if I wanted to do some pack outs on that side, I didn't want it all the way here to do double pack outs on that side, so I kind of split the difference. But yeah, we'll see how this holds up. I was jumping on it a little bit off camera, so it seems fine. Oh, and my reasoning, let's see if I move you down, for doing those cross braces, one, to time together, but also that creates a platform for my cabinetry, or I'm not really going to build a full cabinet and put it in there. It'll be, you know, more just putting up some sides and stuff, but that side might need some additional bracing across. But you'll see that when I build this thing out. Don't worry, I'll take you along for it. It's sweaty, it's hot. Watch me break my back lifting all this lumber and putting it on here. We'll see how easily it moves. Check this out. All my plywood, all my boards, everything, and it's still really easy to wheel. How cool is that? 3/4 MDF times 2, 3/4 ply from Home Depot times 2, 1/2 inch MDF, 3/4 inch from the nicer supplier. There's 4 of those, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 2 foam things. Holds it brilliantly. I'm sweating. It's hot out here. Can I get this camera to focus? Try this way. How's that? Look at that. I'm sweating. First part of this. I don't know what's coming next. I gotta decide what project has to be tackled first. Maybe some interior stuff. That's it for this one. I'll see you when I see ya.